All I'm saying is,
get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk where we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on the Equilizer, the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Darius H, what's good with you? You first out the limo, bro. So I'll put your stuff up right away. Say I seen more action in a middle school fight. This is going viral, and one girl got her hair pulled, and really nothing else happened. But multiple people being grabbed. I would argue it was a little bit more than that, but I understand your sentiment. Appreciate you tuning in, man, and being first one out the limo, bro. What's going on, man? It's all good. It's Coach Marcus, this Pro Fan Talk, and man, we are still on the high of everything that went down last night with the Indiana Fever, getting a little spicy. Spicy is going to be the buzzword for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, man, they got down and dirty, and Sophie Cunningham stood on business, and Marina Mabry threw a cheap shot. And before we go any further, man, let's get this right out of the way right now. Let's see if they keep that same energy for Marina Mabry that they had for Kennedy Carter. In my opinion, what Marina Mabry did was much worse than what Kennedy Carter did. Much worse. So let's see if they keep that same energy, because she basically got a running start. And that was a real knockdown check. What Kennedy Carter did was a light hip check, and the only reason Caitlin Clark went down was because she wasn't expecting it. That's my opinion. What Marina Mabry did, she basically got to run and start. And again, she wasn't involved in the play. So my opinion, what Marina Mabry did is much worse than what Kennedy Carter did. Now, the looks of it are about the same. I still say that was even worse. But let's see if Marina Mabry gets the same type of vitriol that Kennedy Carter got. Because at the end of the day, after all of that stuff died down, Kennedy Carter became one of the best players in the league. Is Marina Mabry? I think not. She's having a good year, but no. I would take Kennedy Carter over Marina Mabry all damn day. If you're going on just talent, stop playing with me. But we'll see what they're going to do. What's going on, Carlos? Sophie about that life. You already know. You already know. That is very on brand for Marina. Yeah, Marina really wasn't in my purview last year. And again, I always got to preface this. I'm a second-year WNBA fan. So I don't know what Marina Mabry did before last year because I didn't watch the WNBA before last year. I watched a little bit, and y'all know the story because of Kelsey Mitchell. So I watched to watch Kelsey Mitchell. I didn't watch the league or anything like that. So I didn't know who Marina Mabry was until last year. So I saw that she, would mix things up. And it's a funny thing. Now, it's a funny thing. And this is where I got to give Sophie Cunningham a little bit of credit. Sophie Cunningham mixes it up with everybody. She tried to step to Kiki Riafin. She done mix it up with a whole bunch of different people. She ain't scared. And if you see that the way that altercation went down last night, when JC Sheldon got up to say something, she stepped to her. She didn't dodge. She didn't lateral move. She stepped to her, grabbed that girl by the back of her ponytail, and had some things to say. It did not let go until she was done saying what she had to say. She stood on business. Now, whether you agree with it or not, that's another conversation. But when you talk about people that's about that life, Sophie Cunningham can take care of herself. I done saw the things with Taekwondo and the martial arts and stuff like that. People with martial arts know how to handle themselves, which is why she stepped to JC Sheldon. That was an MMA move to grab somebody by the back of the head. She knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing. And let me be honest with you, I don't think JC Sheldon was ready for it. So it's very interesting. You look at, and I said the same thing about Angel Reese. When Angel Reese got pissed off because of the take foul by Caitlin Clark, and she was barking and all of that type of stuff. Now, although I understood her fury, I understood why you would think like that and what would make you go off in a situation like that. You knew good and damn well Caitlin Clark didn't want that smoke at all. Because immediately after it happened, she walked away. And my question to that was, how come Angel didn't have that same energy last year when Alyssa Thomas did what she did? Marina Mabry, same thing. Does Marina Mabry do that about to let me see it when Marina Mabry does that and some girls step back to her? Is she running or is she running to or is she running away? So if you're gonna be about that life, be about that life. Because let's be honest with you, Aaliyah Boston ain't about that life. Because when that situation happened last year with Kennedy Carter, Aaliyah Boston was standing right there. She didn't step in. She didn't say nothing. She didn't get in Kennedy's face. She didn't do anything because that's not Aaliyah Boston's personality, even though she's 6'5". That's a personality thing. That's not a size thing. Aaliyah Boston's not a bully. Marina Mabry, you could tell, was a bully. Because she's not going to do that to any old body. So, Shaisa, that's what I said. She didn't. Yeah, she was still on the dang floor. That's a good point. That's a good point. But if it had been anybody else, she jumping up and trying to get in somebody's face. It's funny how certain people, you stay on the ground because you think you might be hurt, and other people, you want to hop up immediately and try to bark in somebody's face. Interesting how that happens. We need to keep a watch on that going forward because that seems to happen a lot. Seems to happen a lot. But now that it's two things that's gonna happen with this. Now that Indiana has a legitimate enforcer, somebody that's not afraid to tangle, there's gonna be some teams that try to get her in trouble, try to get her out. All of that, they're gonna push the limit, especially with these bullshit refs. They're going to try to push the limit. We said the same thing last year. And I'm saying we because I was bitch moaning complaining about the refs last year. And I wasn't the only one. Almost every content creator that I saw was saying the same stuff, regardless of who was your team, regardless of who you was pulling for. The refs around the league were god awful, trash, hot garbage. It was terrible. And Stephanie White said it perfectly last night, and she's not the only one. You heard Kelsey Plum the other day. The refs are the only thing they're consistent at is being inconsistent. They're horrible. And I agree with Stephanie White. If the refs would have took control of that game, it wouldn't have got out of hand. Mabry should have got a flagrant 2 or ejected for what she did, in my opinion. You gonna get a running start and knock somebody down, get her out of there. To me, JC Sheldon was playing good defense. She got a little over aggressive with going after the ball with the hands. She came out high and got Caitlin Clark on the face. It didn't scratch her. It didn't do the shit like Dejanay Carrington was trying to do. But you caught her in the face. That's a foul. And to me, what made it worse was when JC Sheldon walked up on her and Caitlin, in my opinion, Caitlin Clark didn't know she was there. If she would have turned right, it wouldn't have happened. She just happened to turn left because she was holding her eye, and JC Sheldon was right there, and she pushed her away. And that really is what started it. But I've seen worse than that, and they break it up, and they just let both parties go. They apply a couple of fouls, maybe some text, and they keep it moving. But what popped it off last night, in my opinion, was when Marina Mabry did what she did. Because as far as I'm concerned, JC Sheldon was D'ing up Caitlin Clark. At least that's my interpretation of it. Caitlin Clark tries to back people down because she's a guard. She's not that big. So I understand what she was trying to do. And when somebody is bringing their force back, what was JC Sheldon? She had her hands out, giving her all of the abdomen and the chest, bumping her. When Caitlin came back, JC Sheldon went up, and they were meeting like that. That's what you're supposed to do. Or Caitlin Clark would have backed her all the way back to the rim. You're supposed to stand your ground. So I ain't got no problem with what JC Sheldon did. None. That's how you play hard defense. And that's why I said last night, she may have wrote the blueprint on how to guard Caitlin Clark, because Caitlin Clark doesn't like it. Not necessarily that it was effective, but you trying to do something to get inside Caitlin Clark's head. Caitlin Clark does not like that. And I'm saying that as a Caitlin Clark fan and as a coach who watches the game from a critical point of view. I don't care if you're my favorite player or not. If I see something about your game or a weakness or a strength, I'm going to point it out. And in my opinion, Caitlin Clark don't like when people get handsy. That's an easy way to get in her head. And especially if it's one of those nights where she's not hitting her shots. And what makes it last night, the reason why, in my opinion, the reason why JC Sheldon got into Caitlin Clark's head is because they was both talking. Caitlin Clark was hitting shots. JC Sheldon couldn't hit the broadside of a barn last night. If JC Sheldon ever learns how to shoot, she might be a damn good player. But right now, she's just a really good defender. Because she can't shoot worth shit. But she kept yapping. And this is the one thing I always say. And I like to keep things 100. Y'all hear me say that a lot. Because of my perspective, I am a former pro athlete. I played in the NFL. So I can like somebody and be critical of their game at the same time. That's how I came up. I could run for 200 yards in the game, but when we get to film session, the coach will tell me everything I did wrong because nobody's perfect when they're on that field or on that court. So that is my perspective. So if people don't like it, that's cool. I got people. I'm an Indiana Fever fan. I'm a Caitlin Clark fan, and I got people in Indiana Fever groups coming at me like I'm not a real fan of Caitlin Clark because I'm critical of her, and I'm like, you got to understand the difference. And when I hear comments like that, that's when I know I'm dealing with people that don't watch the game, that don't study the game, that have probably never played, or one of those AAU parents that want their kid to get all the calls and can't nobody else do anything. That's the era that we dealing with the fans, a lot of these parents, and unfortunately, some of these players. If they ain't getting all the calls, they got a problem with it. Everything is extra. Just play fucking ball. Keep it basketball. I don't care whether you like Caitlin Clark or not. I don't care whether you like JC Sheldon a lot. Marina Mabry, Angel Reese, Dejanay Carrington, Alyssa Smith. You name your player. I don't care if you like them or not. At the end of the day, if you keep it basketball, it is going to play itself out. And whatever you thought, whatever your opinions were, it is going to play out on the court. So you're going to either say one or two things. You either going to say, I told you so, or you're going to say, you was right. So let things play out. That's what I like to do. Kaylin got unhinged last night due to JC Sheldon's defense on her. I agree 100%. 100%. My one criticism, or my biggest criticism of Caitlin Clark, and again, I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. My biggest criticism of her is when her shots ain't falling and the calls are not getting her way, her body language is trash. Her attitude goes to trash. She doing all of this for the refs. She got a tech the other day because she didn't like the call of the refs. And never in the history of ever has a player tried to cuss out a referee and got the call switched. That's never happened. And she knows that. But with all great players comes the ego. That's where that comes in. The best players, the highest of the high, understand how to temper that, or at least how to control it. Caitlin Clark has her good days and her bad days. Usually that relies on if she is making shots or not. So Chronicles, I agree with you 100%. The mistake JC Sheldon made was after she got her in the eye, she backed off. If you notice how she was guarding her after that whole thing happened, JC Sheldon backed off a little bit. And I was like, nah, keep the pressure on her. Keep the pressure on her. Especially, I'll say it again, especially the way these bullshit refs be calling the games. You push the envelope if you playing defense. You push the envelope until the refs call it. If they don't call it, you keep pushing. Let them call the foul because clearly they don't like doing it. So that, to me, that was a mistake on Connecticut's part. JC Sheldon should have stayed in Caitlin Clark's back pocket because the refs weren't doing what they were supposed to do. So let's see in the chat. What's up, Tiff? The refs need to be fined or something. Yes, I said this last night. I agree with you 100%. That's not going to happen. But the Players Association needs to have some type of provision or introduce some type of provision in the next CBA that says basically like, hey, Kathy, you got to do something about these refs. We got to figure out a way where the grading scale has to affect whether they get used in games and stuff like that. That could be a double-edged sword, though. I got to keep it real because these are supposed to be the best refs you have. Some of these refs in the WNBA, some of these refs in the NBA and playing in the finals started in the WNBA. So all of the refs ain't bad. It just seems like most of the time they are. So I don't know what you're going to do with that because what are you going to do? It's not necessarily a big pool of refs. Plus, if you're going to bring somebody up, then you bringing somebody out with no experience being a ref. So you find yourself in a bad loop. So you got to make the existing pool of referees and officials that you have, you got to figure out a way to make them better. I don't know how that's going to happen, but you got to figure out how to do that. How am I going to double down on being Maybe a fan and maybe continue to do dirty, underhanded moves out there. Listen, man, if you a fan, you a fan, be a fan. That's how she plays. I'm not a big fan of Diana Taurasi. Was never a big fan of Diana Taurasi. In my opinion, Diana Taurasi was damn sure a dirty player. That don't mean she wasn't one of the best ever. That just means that her brand of play, I didn't care for. So I'm not a fan. That ain't gonna stop her from going into the hall. So if you a Marina Mabrey fan, be a fan. I ain't mad at you. Yeah, they was talking about this last night in my live stream. They got history when they was in college. Okay. That's what a rivalry is. It ain't the Caitlin Clark and Angel bullshit. They don't even play the same position. That's what a rivalry is. You playing at the same position and you in each other's ear. Because you saw it was at one point JC got called for a foul, and then Caitlin, she must have said something to Caitlin because Caitlin was walking away and immediately turned back around and started going at her. That was when Caitlin came out and started pumping up the crowd and all that kind of stuff. JC said something to her. And she was walking back to the bench, I think it was. I don't know if it was a timeout or what it was. And Caitlin immediately did a 180 and they started going back and forth. So she gonna come across people that's not scared to talk. So it is what it is. But I had heard that last night a couple times. Tiff, you ain't wrong. It's a little better than that, but I understand. I understand you are not wrong. I'm old school like you. Okay, yeah. These kids, listen, I'm 1970, bro. I'm the class of 88. I graduated college before Windows 95 existed. I grew up on DOS. I went outside. We cut our teeth on, freeze tag and water hose. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm from the 70s, bro. Be home before the street lights come on. That's when I was raised. You don't like somebody, find somebody else to play with. When you go outside on a Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning, you better not come back in the house until 4. At least go outside and play. Don't be in this house all damn day. That's where I grew up. Absolutely, I'm old school, man. OG, triple OG. Appreciate you. Those people you describe on Facebook just want to be in the praise Caitlin only house. They do not want any criticism of Caitlin social media airwaves. They're the only one. Yeah, I agree. I agree. There are different levels of fans, and I gotta, I try to explain to people like my perspective is different. And yes, this is where I pull out the I used to play professional sports card, and it's not like I'm the only person that feels like this. There's people that didn't play pro sports, and all people there's parents that don't get mad when they kids lose and stuff like that. I just saw the thing. What's his name? What's the comedian's name? Ali Sadiq. He's got a bit on YouTube where he's talking about his daughter on the swim team, and she beating everybody. And she came across a little white girl named Molly Brown, and busted her up. There's a whole bit about that, and it's all about understanding that your kids are gonna fail, but there are lessons in loss. And for some reason, a lot of the people, not all, but a lot of the people involved in the WNBA think they are exempt. The ladies of the W, they got all the attention that they was looking for, but they just thought the bad element that comes with that popularity was just going to miss them. Like, oh, no. It don't work that way. Does not work that way. You got to take the good with the bad. The New York Liberty are the only team not trying to hurt Caitlin Clark. Unfortunately, the WNBA has major issues, which is many teams. And listen, man, once again, Albert, I understand. I don't agree, but I understand why you have that sentiment based on what you have seen and based on the optics. I understand that. I don't necessarily agree with it. But let me explain it like this. Last year, people said the same exact thing. They were coming after Caitlin Clark, and it was assault, and I kept hearing the word assault a lot, and I was like, Wait a minute. And I started feeding into that Kool-Aid. I started drinking that Kool-Aid. But I said, hold on, pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. And what I did was I went on YouTube and I looked up highlights from the last 4 or 5 years before I was watching the WNBA. So last year was 2024. So I went back from 2022 before then. And I just tried to pull up games. And I was like, this ain't nothing new. They've been playing rough and tumble like this for a long time. It's just ain't nobody was watching it. Nobody saw it. I use this because this is the easiest example to find. Go back, go on YouTube and search for the Candace Parker Detroit Shock Brawl. Them women were on the floor throwing haymakers. That was a fight. All this pushing and shoving. What Sophie Cunningham did last night was the closest thing the WNBA has seen to a real fight in a long time. Now, they've been standoffs and dust-ups and pushing and getting in each other's faces and neck bobbing and all that, women being women. There's been a lot of that. But last night, what happened with Sophie was the closest thing I've seen to a fight where people are putting hands on each other. Before then, all you saw was the same old. Dust-ups, getting in people's faces and all of that, calling names and you a bitch and all of that kind of stuff, which happens in every sport. Somebody was on my stream last night and was like, yo, I play soccer. So, and I was like, say less. Because I know how it is on that field. They ain't playing. And somebody will literally kick your ass. WNBA is super ratchet, always trying to fight each other and petty arguing. Yes and yes. But what I have learned is I am not gonna take some players as the sum of its parts. Because there are some good players. There are some people that don't talk a lot of shit, that just get out there, do their job, ball out, and don't say nothing to nobody. There are some players like that, and they're really good. Unfortunately, just like any other walk of life, any other sport, any other thing that you watch, most people concentrate on the negative, and the negative gets louder. It's not like the other good, quiet player, not quiet, but there's a lot of players that just get out there, ball out, and don't say shit to nobody. But let's be real, in this social media era, that don't make no money. That don't make no money. Caitlin Clark, the Sophie Cunningham probably just made her more money than she's ever made in her career from what she did last night. Because now everybody's going to want to talk to her. Everybody's going to want to take pictures of her. Then that's going to lead to more endorsement deals. And that's the way it goes now. Your visibility dictates how much money you're going to make. And I think last night, Sophie Cunningham just cashed the ticket. JC Sheldon did too, for that matter, because you still have a lot of people that hate Caitlin Clark. There are a lot of fans that don't like Caitlin Clark. So now you got JC Sheldon has a big contingency of fans in that court because she went up against Caitlin Clark and D'd her up and all of that type of stuff. Because there's a split group of people in the WNBA, players and fans alike. It's the same way now with JC Sheldon, Marina Mabrey, Angel Reese, Sophie Cunningham. Who else? What's the girl in Seattle? Skylar Diggins. Diana Taurasi was the same way. You got people that hate. If you love Caitlin Clark, now you hate JC Sheldon and you hate Marina Mabrey. So people didn't forget that it was Marina Mabrey and Dejanay Carrington laughing about Caitlin Clark flopping when she got poked in, when Dejanay poked her in the eye. Y'all remember that? They was on the bench laughing and Dejanay was mimicking her and stuff like that, and Marina was laughing. So people don't forget that. And that's the one thing when you watch sports now, everybody got receipts. Everybody got receipts. Anytime you see a group of women, as soon as one of them leave the room, they all talk trash about them. Yeah, that's true. You see that. Marina Mabry is about that life. She has a compilation of YouTube on all her fights, just like Sophie. I'm gonna have to look at that, Uraines. Pop a link for me. Because the only thing I've seen Marina Mabry in is dust-ups. I ain't never seen Marina Mabry grab somebody by the back of their neck. I ain't never seen that. So even last year, look at last year. And this is where you got to let things play out. Remember last year, Indiana played Phoenix? Who was Natasha Cloud with last year? I think it was Phoenix. I could be wrong. In any case, it was Kelsey Mitchell and Natasha Cloud going at it. And they was in each other's face. And I said this last year when it happened. Because for those of you who don't know, for those of you who are new to me, I have a personal affinity with Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell is from my hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio. She went to my high school. Her father was a very good friend of mine before he passed away. He was one of my fraternity brothers. Her father is the reason I got into college and did the things that I do because of her father. And I don't even know Kelsey Mitchell. I never got a chance to meet her because I was up here in Philly when I got out of college, and I never moved back to Cincinnati. But Big Mark, her father, was always there. So I'm saying all that to say, I've always had an affinity for Kelsey Mitchell. She's the one that got me started watching the W. So when her and Natasha Cloud got in it, Kelsey Mitchell stepped to her and pushed her, put hands on her, get away from me. And of course, everybody jumped in the middle of it. But my point is that they got face-to-face jaw-jacking, and Kelsey Mitchell was like, boom, now what? There was no text. Nobody got ejected. There was no flagrants. None of that. And then after the game, they immediately found each other on the court, dapped it up, hugged it out, and was gone. And both of them said the same thing in the postgame. That's just two competitors. It's like that sometimes. Natasha's my dog. Kelsey's my dog. We've known each other for a while. That's just two competitors in the spirit going at it. But I got love. That's the way it's supposed to be. When you on the court, it's about business. When you're on the court. Natasha is an OG. She's been around for a minute. Kelsey Mitchell's been around for a minute. This is what Kelsey's, sixth, seventh year in the league? So they know how to operate. So it's not always trying to get over or trying to do something bad. And in my opinion, these women ain't trying to hurt each other. The men do this shit every freaking day and don't nobody say shit. You want a good comp for what happened last night with Sophie Cunningham? Go look at the Trae Young thing. Let me see if I still got this. Hold on. I just posted this short. Let me see if I still got it. Crap, where'd it go? It was I took the thing. Y'all remember when Trae Young was in Atlanta, and the dude, somebody from the Knicks, like bumped him for no reason. Damn, I don't think I finished it yet. Hold on, I'm gonna find it though. The dude bumped him. The game was over. Trae Young won the game. And he was walking off the court, and the dude from the Knicks shoulder checked him. And Trae Young, he a small dude. He ain't fighting nobody. He just kind of looked at it, shrugged it off. And while the dude was mean mugging him, turned around, the dude from Atlanta came and chin checked that dude, and they started getting into it. That's what Sophie Cunningham did last night. I'm going to find that video. This is it right here. Right this. Noel, whatever his name is. Nerlens Noel. Watch this. There you see it? You see that bump? That right there. And he shook it off. And then, I'll see, they didn't show the other side. One of his teammates got with Noel and was looking at, got in his face, and they got into it, and they had to break them up. And I'm saying all that to say that's what Sophie Cunningham did for Kayla last night. You know what I mean? So that's what that was. So check out this. Look at this. Hold on, I'm trying to stay with the chat. Yeah, get the rest from the Euro League for sure. Yeah, 70s babies. That's right. We old school. You can't have cool. Can't have old school without cool, right? Y'all say what's up to my twin. What's up, sis? Yeah, they do need some thicker skin for sure. They do need some thicker skins. Some of these players and some of these fans. I'm already seeing folks like, let's get these thugs out of the league, and then got a picture of JC Sheldon. I'm like, really? Like, you playing hard-nosed basketball. And here's the thing. Fans got to figure out what they want. Fans got to figure out what they want. Do they want the women to play basketball, or do they want them to be all goody two shoes? What do you want? You can't have it both ways. This ain't the rec league. This is professional sports, and this is how it goes. The problem is men who are not used to seeing that don't know how to react. And it's those men that are trying to control the narrative of what people say, think, on social media, all of that type of shit. Because most of the worst comments are coming from dudes that just don't know how to process what they seeing. So, it is what it is. But I wanted to look at this real quick, right? This is, let me let y'all into this. There we go. There we go. Can y'all still hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me. Sometimes my microphone be acting goofy. But this is the post game with the referee crew. Why was JC Sheldon's foul upgraded to a flagrant run? In the judgment of the officials, the foul by Sheldon was unnecessary. The contact to Caitlin Clark's face. Furthermore, there was a wind up and impact, and the contact to the face carries a potential for injury. Now, this is what I disagree with. Now, well, no. I disagree with them saying it was unnecessary. You in the heat of the moment, you bumping bodies, you trying to keep your balance, spread your legs, put your arms out, and lean backwards until you right at the moment where you're about to fall, and see how you keep your balance. You got to move your hands to get your body weight to shift. That's how you keep your balance. Now, you on the basketball court, somebody's trying to back you down, you trying to stay open, and if you watch the clip, JC Sheldon, she kept her arms wide, her base was low, and she was bodying her and matching her energy. That's what you're supposed to do. Then Caitlin Clark drop step to create space. I don't know if she was looking to get a shot. And that's when JC Sheldon tried to swipe for the ball. And she just missed. She caught her in the face. She didn't scratch her, nothing like that. She just caught her in the face. And you know how women get. When you get hit in the face or somebody pull your hair, all shit is about to break loose. We get it. But so when they say it's unnecessary, and I'm like, what are y'all talking about? What does unnecessary mean? Keep it the flagrant one, because from my understanding, the rule is if you catch somebody in the face, that's a flagrant. Cool. If that's the letter of the law, you go with it. But unnecessary, get out of here with that shit. What went into deciding Marina Mabrey should get a tech instead of something more severe, like an ejection? Valid question, because Marina Mabrey should have got ejected. The contact made by Mabrey did not rise to the level of an ejection. Additionally, did not meet the criteria of a flagrant foul penalty too. And this is a situation where you got to read the room. The girl took a running start and knocked Caitlin Clark down. What else she got to do to be ejected? Well, I don't. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? I don't understand that at all. She was not involved in the play. She came from the back, took about a two or three step lead, and knocked her down because everybody thought Tina Charles did it from the first angle. And Tina Charles was like, whoa, what happened? She didn't even see Mabry. Tina Charles, her teammate, didn't even see her. So Mabry was on some bullshit, and how the refs can say it didn't warrant get out of here. Did not rise to the level of an ejection. Get out of here. So what does? I bet you if it had been Kennedy Carter, that y'all would have threw her out. If it had been Angel Reese, you would have threw her out. So let's keep it a buck. You should have called that shit. The refs are trash. Ray Charles could have saw that. Why did Caitlin Clark get a technical foul? After the foul by Sheldon, Clark reacted in an unsportsmanlike manner towards Sheldon. So let me guess. So she holding her eye and she turns around to walk away. She just happens to turn right instead of turning, or she was facing the other way. So she turned left and Sheldon had already walked up on her. What was she supposed to do? After that just happened, once again, read the room. This is what y'all get paid to do. This is what the refs get paid to do. That's a bullshit answer. That's a bullshit answer. Why did Tina Charles get a technical foul? Tina runs toward Clark in an unsportsmanlike manner and taunts her. Are you serious? But Marina Mabry, that's cool though. Get the hell out of here. Y'all, I don't know what to call it. Why was Sophie Cunningham's foul upgraded to a flagrant 2? I ain't got no problem from here on out. Sophie Cunningham should have been ejected. J.C. Sheldon should have been ejected. J.C. Sheldon lowered her shoulder, cradled the ball, and went into Sophie Cunningham. She did that on purpose. Sophie Cunningham, credit to her, knew it was coming. And I thought it was interesting how she came down on her, never lost her balance, just continued to backpedal, and she stopped. She never went down. When J.C. Sheldon got up, Sophie Cunningham took a step forward, grabbed that girl by the back of her head, and read her the riot act. It did not let go of that ponytail until she was done saying what she had to say. That was the funniest part. So I don't understand. I understand Sophie. Lindsay Allen shouldn't have got attacked. She was trying to be peacemaker, so they screwed that up. But J.C. Sheldon should have at least got a flagrant. But all of that, in my opinion, all of that shit, that whole Sophie Cunningham situation would not have happened if the refs would have handled the first situation with JC and catching Caitlin in the face. If they would have handled that the way it should have been, you wouldn't have had this. If they would have handled Marina Mabry the way it should have been handled, and they should have kicked her out of the game, you wouldn't have had this. That's my opinion. So again, I ain't condoning nobody. But guess what? The refs get paid to handle shit like this, and they ain't handling their business. The refs are trash again. But hey, it's bringing the ratings in. What do you think the ratings are going to be the next time Connecticut and Indiana play? When Indiana has to go to Connecticut, back in the Mohegan Sun, man, that damn casino going to be jam-packed. Watch. It's going to be crazy up in there. Oh, shoot, you played in Camden? What? You already know. Say less. You know they don't play. Marina, I quit Mabry. Oh, my God. How athletes act in WNBA, they will never make a penny in profit. They will always lose money every year. The athletes' personality is so ugly, the way they carry themselves. We'll have to agree to disagree on that one because the men act much worse and they still making a lot more money. And I disagree because people are watching. Regardless of what you think of the WNBA, the league, all of that type of stuff, at the end of the day, if it's polarizing, people are going to watch. I learned a little bit of something since I've been doing this social media thing, since I've been on YouTube and started my channel. Like since I've been dedicated to my channel. I can make the best video ever, and I might get 300 views. But let me put out something that's wrong or I make a mistake. I got people coming out the woodwork to let me know that I'm wrong, to let me know that they don't like what I said, how I said it. I must be crazy. I had a guy, I looked at one of my comments today he swore up and down that I'm not a Caitlin Clark fan. Because every time I talk about Caitlin Clark, I'm being critical of her. And well, first of all, you ain't watched my videos. The second of all, that's game observations. That ain't being critical of her. I'm watching the game. That ain't hating on her. I shouldn't say critical. Hating. Hating is when you just everything that somebody does is wrong because you don't like that person. I ain't hating on Caitlin Clark. I'm a Caitlin Clark fan, just like I'm an Angel Reese fan. But you know what? If Angel Reese misses another layup, I'm gonna call it out. If Caitlin Clark, if her body language is trash because she ain't getting the call, I'm gonna call it out. If Caitlin Clark don't move her feet on defense, I love Aaliyah Boston, but tell me Aaliyah Boston wasn't about to cry last night when she missed that layup under the basket. Her face tore up and everything. That girl was about to cry until Caitlin Clark said something to her. And I was like, oh my God. So guess what? You don't deal with people, you deal with personality. You learn those lessons as a coach. I've had situations, and again, this is me. This is what makes me, and this is what formulates my perspective. I've had kids when I coached. I had one year I was coaching basketball, and clearly this kid hit puberty a little bit better, a little bit earlier than everybody else. He was faster. He could jump higher, all of that type of stuff. But he was a knucklehead. Mom giving him everything he wanted, but he was a knucklehead and he didn't want to listen to me on the court. And I kicked him off my court one time. And his mom saw me. And his mom got so upset with me that she went to the commissioner of the summer league to get me kicked out because she didn't like how I handled her son. And her son was being disrespectful on my team. Get the hell out of here with that bullshit. So you know what? The commissioner politely took that kid off my team and he went on somewhere else and lost while we won the championship. The fuck out of here. Stop playing with me. I ain't got time for these knucklehead kids that don't want to listen. We ain't doing that. So I say all I have to say, I try to keep it real. If I can like a person, I can be a fan of a person and offer constructive criticism based on what I see that happens in the game. I can do that. Everybody can't. Some people it's all one way or the other. And I ain't never been like that. Because when my dad was my coach, my dad would ream me a new one sometimes. When I was breaking records at Eastern Kentucky, Coach Roy Kidd would get in film session and ream me out because I did something wrong. Rightfully so. Because just so all you see is the positive. A good coach, any coach worth their salt, is going to get in your digs about the real stuff, the stuff that don't nobody ever see. And the problem is a lot of these fans out here watching highlight tapes and calling it like they watching film. Two different things, bro. Two different things. So Sophie's jersey sold out. Nice. Nice. Yeah, social media is, you got a lot of people that can say anything they want to say with impunity, and that's never a good thing. Yeah, everybody want to see the train wreck, man. Everybody want to see the train wreck. What's up, Brandon, with the $5 super chat, man? You know I appreciate it, bro. JC held Caitlin to 20 points in 29 minutes, 50% from the field when scoring 2 points herself. Exactly. Exactly. Everybody might think that Caitlin Clark had a average game by comparison, but no, she had a pretty good game because she shot well. She was 5 for 6 from 3. She shot really well from 3-point. So she had herself a good game, man. Yeah, I don't think Sophie is a dirty player. She'll just mix it up. She'll just mix it up. None of the players are about that life. Life in W really isn't that bad. Insurance, housing. I would beg to differ. I think Sophie's about that life. I know Kelsey Mitchell can handle her own. I don't know about Angel. Everybody assumes that she can throw down because she grew up in Maryland and she's big. But I don't know. Did Angel Reese ever have to throw down with anybody? I can't answer that question. I know Flau'jae probably has. You know what I'm saying? So Kalia Copper from North Philly probably has. You know what I'm saying? You've seen some dust ups with Kalia Copper, and Kalia Copper is one of those people that step forward, not step back. You know what I mean? So it's a personality thing, man. You don't deal with people, you deal with personality. And that really comes into play when you're talking about a team. Yeah, she put Sheldon, man, when she grabbed her in the back of her head, oh, and she was talking to her like, this is what you wanted. I don't know what she said, but hey, man, listen, I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think it's all dirty play. I think, in my opinion, they show the dirty plays on ESPN too much. But for the most part, it's just good, hard-nosed basketball, which is what they're supposed to be doing. Excuse me. So I don't necessarily agree with that. It's not all dirty. Sometimes hard-nosed physical basketball is not pretty to watch. Maybe that's what people get mixed up. I don't know. You certainly can't use the NBA as an example because they doing some bullshit up there too. Yeah, I do remember that. And Kalia and somebody had to she was just, she eventually got the message, but I do remember that play. Absolutely, Dave. You know what? I'm gonna have to go back. I had a couple people say that last night about Sheldon being reckless and caused 2 injuries in the game. I got to go back and look at that because did she cause 2 injuries or she was just involved in the play? Because when you're talking about injuries and you're talking about a person causing injuries, to me, that means somebody is actively trying to hurt somebody else. To me, that's different as opposed to somebody that was involved in a play with 2 different people and both those other people got injuries. I don't believe whatsoever that JC Sheldon was trying to hurt Colson or anybody else. And this is just me. I don't believe last night JC Sheldon was trying to smack Caitlin Clark in the face. I just don't believe that. I've been around enough football and baseball and soccer and basketball. I've been around long enough to know what it looks like when somebody is really trying to hurt somebody else. Now, did JC Sheldon get a little overzealous with what she was doing? Absolutely. But when you in the thick of the game, anybody that's ever played in the game and your adrenaline going and everything gets amped up. So that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. So, it is what it is. But I don't think everybody is dirty. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Man, the chats is coming, man. Yeah, Sophie knows Taekwondo, I believe. And probably some mixed martial. Yeah, Flau'jae. And have you heard this stuff about, now this thing is coming up where Flau'jae and Angel Reese really ain't friends. You know what I mean? So, because I remember when they was getting into it, they senior year, when Angel was off the team for like 2 weeks, and everybody was like, well, what's going on? And Kim Mulkey wouldn't get no answer. So, where there's smoke, there's fire. Mabry needs a game suspension, even though the Sun is so bad, she'd probably appreciate it. I'd be okay if she got suspended for a game. But let me be honest with you, it shouldn't even come to that. She should have just been kicked out of the game. She's just been ejected. Case closed. Then you wouldn't be saying, well, she should get extra, she should get this, and she should get that. That's unnecessary. If the refs did what they were supposed to do in the first place, we wouldn't be here. Roll Sophie's ankle. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, but she. Again, I'm not going to accuse nobody of trying to willingly hurt somebody. I got to see some damn good evidence of that. I saw that play you talking about, and to me, that wasn't. Somebody else can't roll your ankle. Sophie zigged when she should have zagged, or she planted, she did something, and the ankle wasn't ready yet. So you saw that big ass ankle brace she had on last night. She ain't 100% yet. Oh, I got to see that. I missed that one. I did not see that. So, and not for nothing, did y'all see the play where Kiki Iriafen hip tossed Sophie? So, like Kiki Iriafen was like, "Yeah, I know a little something too." But you know what? Sophie got up and was about to get with her until her teammates got in the way and was like, "Let's calm this down and keep playing." So, but it's all good. It's all good. All right, time's almost up. But let me say this. Let me end with this. And I want to end with Caitlin Clark. And my comments about Caitlin Clark are this. And she's great, and I'm a fan, and I like the way she plays, and I don't mind the bravado, because if you talk it up, you got to back it up, and she can back it up. However, playing at that elite level, you got to be able to control your emotions. And it is my opinion that if Caitlin Clark keep talking like she talk, now you can talk, but she gonna say the wrong thing to the wrong person on the wrong day, and somebody gonna pull her number, and she ain't gonna have her teammates to step in for, or it's gonna be a situation at the other end of the court where she on the island, and it's gonna be all her, and then somebody gonna step to her, and she ain't gonna have a chance to walk away. So all I'm saying is it's good when you talk like that and you can put it out there, because you got to back it up. I ain't got no problem with that. But there might come a time where somebody gonna step to Caitlin Clark, and she ain't gonna have her teammates, ain't gonna be nobody close to get to her in time, and she gonna have to put up or shut up. So let's see what happens in that regard. I hope it never happens, but y'all all know, let's keep it a buck. Caitlin Clark talks mad shit. She talks mad shit. And it might be one of them situations where she gonna fuck around and find out. She gonna say the wrong thing to the wrong person on the wrong day. And she better be ready to handle business on her own, because Sophie ain't gonna make it from the other side of the court. Kelsey Mitchell ain't gonna make it from the other side of the court. It's gonna be her on the island, and she better be ready to make that move. But we'll see. Oh, you like that? The however comma? Oh my God. All right, man. Listen, lunch break is almost up. It's time for you to finish your sandwich, go wash your hands, and get back to work. Y'all ain't gonna have me getting you in trouble. But listen, man, the chat was fire. Paolo, shout out to Paolo. Paolo was on my stream last night. Paolo is from Milan, Italy. Checking in. Paolo, I appreciate you, man. I'm about to get back to work, bro. But I will be on tonight with me and Tone. We got our Eagles show tonight at 7:00. We missed this weekend because it was Father's Day. So me and Tone gonna be on tonight at 7:00. So come back, talk with us. We're gonna be talking about the Birds and Jalen and everything that's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I appreciate, man. This was a fire chat. I appreciate everybody. My twin sis Mel, Tiffany, Dave, Paolo, Kevin, Albert, Brandon. Thanks again for the super chat, bro. C-Man, Kev the PRF, Real Money. That's her screen name, y'all. I don't know if it's a man or woman, but I appreciate you nonetheless. Did I forget anybody? Real Mother? Oh, that's Real Money. I thought Real Mother. Did I miss anybody? If I missed you, charge it to my head, not my heart, man. But I'm gonna get up out of here. Brandon Sleep, appreciate the super chat, bro. We're gonna get out of here. I gotta get back to work, got some work to do. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Come check me out tonight, 7 p.m. right here. Me and Tone going at it, Eagles Talk. I will holler at y'all later. Peace.